hello and welcome. And I am going to do, well, hello and welcome. I'm Japan. Why did I messed up the intro? Yeah, either way, here we go. This is what people say is the all-time greatest wrestlers. Um, yeah, I'm gonna rank them, and I'm gonna try to put them in. Like we got four categories. I don't feel like butt's good. I don't know if I say overrated. That sounds worse. I don't know. But we got five tiers here. I'm going to rank people. This is probably going to be one of the most like commented videos that I've ever had because yeah, this is a lot of opinions. So I'm going to like most of my tier list, I'm going to put them in like, having the same amount each one. So, that being said, there will be a lot more people at the bottom that might not necessarily be at the bottom normally. And so, yeah, that's going to add a little bit to this. But let's just go from the top. We got Kane. So, Kane's one of my favorites growing up. So, it's hard to put him, you know, very low, but like when you think about Kane, he's got amazing Royal Rumbles. I like him when he was in the mask. And he was great with that. Even though I would say like in probably my top 10 favorite wrestlers, I definitely have Kane. I'm gonna put him in the middle because I'm trying to think of like these are my favorites and what I think is the greatest. And yeah, some of these aren't gonna fit everybody else's norm, but I'm gonna have to do it because unfortunately there's a lot of good wrestlers here, and some people are gonna get the short end of the stick. That's how it goes. Next up, we got Big Show. Big Show was like a beast growing up. I never really cared for him because he seemed like to be always against people that I personally liked, so it just kind of happened to be like that. I'm gonna put him in mid. It's a hard statement to just even say that, but I guess that's what it goes. And then we got five-time Booker T right here. Again, Booker wasn't really anybody I necessarily liked growing up, so like. I guess like that's how we're building this list is based off of my opinion, based off of like what they've done, and he's definitely done a lot. But God, this feels sacrilegious almost. Putting Booker T in mid, I guess just like depending on what we see here, it makes it harder to like build up a case. Chris Benoit, he's an interesting one because of all the crap he did outside. And inside the ring, I think he still did great with a lot of different things, but I'm gonna safely put him at the bottom just because of some of like everything all together with him. I think that could be a safe person to put at the bottom. Overall, I know he had a couple accolades, but like I don't know, some of the other people on this list is just so good that they're probably gonna do that. Probably be at the bottom. Then comes Dean Ambrose. I think if Dean Ambrose would have had the same trajectory as the other two Shield members, he would be higher here. And if you added what he's done outside of being John Moxley, I think that would definitely put him up higher. But I'm gonna put Ambrose in overrated. I don't think he was overrated, but I just feel like overall with this list, he's definitely towards the bottom of. Definitely being out of the three of the Shield, I think he's definitely would be the lowest ranked one. But, that's still amazing to a lot of other people. I kind of missed the beginning of the Shield. I remember like when the Shield formed and then some of that. And then I stopped watching wrestling. And by the time I came back, he was already gone. So I guess that also will, tank his ranking. Then we got Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was really good. He had some great runs there. Again, I don't know. I feel like this is putting sacrilegious. Just put him in good. Like he was a great wrestler, but overall, for my feelings, he's like in the good range. Like, it's hard to say that, man. Next up, you got the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's like top three for me. I think his accolades and everything else would definitely put him in the GOAT status. I feel like that's safe to do it. Next up is Shawn Michaels. Honestly, when Shawn Michaels was doing most of his great work, it's not when I was watching, and I only really remember him when he was with DX, and he obviously is really good. I guess I guess Shawn Michaels can go in the legend category. A lot of people have him in the GOAT. I think that's just more of my age and my, you know, what I've done with wrestling that he kind of gets a little bit lower than the GOAT. But, you know, it's the same thing right here. Like, Ric Flair's coming up. Ric Flair has the most championships and should easily be the GOAT. But because I didn't really see any for me personally, I'm going to have to put him in the legend category. Because obviously I can't ignore all of the accolades he did and the longevity of his career. But me personally, I don't think he's a GOAT because it's kind of recency bias of not people that I've dealt with. Rey Mysterio is an interesting one next because like Rey Mysterio has done a lot and he's still doing a lot, but overall with a lot of these guys' careers, where would we put Rey Mysterio? I like Rey a lot, so I hate saying that and then putting him in the mid category, but I'm gonna have to. I feel like this is gonna be one of those videos. It's gonna probably piss off a lot of people. But hey, tell me in the comments. Tell me what I did wrong. I can already feel that there's heat coming, and I might move some of these around, knowing what's coming up. Next up is Brock Lesnar. I never was a fan of Brock Lesnar, but he has so many accolades, and when you think about the GOAT, he's definitely up there. I'm gonna have to put him in the legend category between all the title reigns and just brutal strength that they let him do, and beating the streak. I think is also a huge fame to put him in there, even though I don't really necessarily care for him or have ever cared for his wrestling that much. I still can't think you can ignore that, you know. Next up is Sheamus. Sorry, my cat just freaked out. Sheamus over here, just coming back from injury. He's had a great career, but when you stack up with everybody here, like he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I think that's for sure. But does he stack as high as everybody else? I don't know. I'm gonna have to put him towards the bottom, and I hate that because I like Sheamus a lot. That's just the rough part of this list because I'm trying to keep it even. If I didn't keep it even, I'd have way too much high up there. So I have to make the tough decisions. Next up is Seth Rollins. I absolutely love Seth Rollins. He's one of my favorite wrestlers right now. And he's doing great things. I mean, he just dropped the title, but like, man, he's done a lot in his career. I'm gonna put him in the legend category. I feel like that's definitely, he has an extra boost of mine, but I feel like, you know, we're not going to, you know, he wouldn't go quite into GOAT because he's still got some stuff in his career, and I think he's still got some left to prove, even though man's got a lot of accolades already. Next up is Goldberg. I just never liked Goldberg, so this is going to be an easy overrated one. I just feel like they built him up, and I didn't think he did anything too crazy. I mean, that might just be my own feeling, but that's just how it goes for me, at least. Next up, we got John Cena, who's still coming back to this day. I still kind of hope, like, in a perfect world, there's a way to get him one more title when he does his final run next year, but he's in the GOAT for me. I mean, he put the thing on his back. If you loved him, you hate him, whatever you want to say, but he had a good portion of that WWE and kept it alive by doing what he did. So, you know, he's got to go up in there. Eddie Guerrero, I always loved Eddie Guerrero's matches between all the, you know, basically cheating and then trying to get away with it. It was great. But all together, where would I put him? I'm going to put him next to Rey. I feel like that's fitting and kind of, you know, put it in there. Next up, we got Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes probably right now, if I had to say, hey, what's your favorite wrestler? I would say Cody Rhodes. But he just got the championship. And if you look at everything else he's done, you know, he's gotten some Intercontinental titles, some tag team titles. But if you put him on the list of everybody here, he would be probably towards the bottom. It's crazy to say, but I think that's kind of where he has to go. I love Cody. I think Cody, this will be a list in like 2-3 years where he's much higher up, either having large title reigns or a lot more in it. So I'm going to have to put it there. I don't know how, but I guess that's where it goes. Next up is CM Punk. You know, Punk with missing that time in WWE, I think really kind of puts him in a weird position here. I don't necessarily feel that he's at the bottom, but I don't think he's at the top either. So I'm going to put him in mid for now. I think that's a safe spot to put him. Next up is Jericho. Man, Jericho is I remember watching him all the time. Like that when I first started wrestling, Jericho was really major during that time with the Walls of Jericho and all that. I would put him in good. I mean, he had some great matches, and it's kind of crazy when you see like certain people above other people. But it's like I'm having to feel it out, and I think it makes it a lot harder. Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, he was a beast. I'm gonna have to put him still up in the good. I feel like with some of these guys, it's just like their careers didn't stay as long, and I'm just realizing they don't have the Undertaker on here. They don't have the Undertaker on this list. How do you not have the Undertaker on? This is the all-time list that people put together, and no Tanker. Ugh, I should have probably looked at this before that, but damn. Dolph Ziggler. I was never a fan of Dolph Ziggler, so it's kind of an easier overrated one for me. I do like Dolph Ziggler, but it's just like I never watched him enough to be like, oh, but I can like appreciate that he's good. I said I didn't like. I don't care for him, but I could appreciate what he did. That's what I meant to say. That made it sound way worse. RVD, I loved RVD back in the day. Gonna put him up in that good section. This is a weird list. I'm gonna be honest. Mankind, McFoley, the bumps and everything he did was crazy. And he's put in some good title work. I gotta put him up in Legend, man. Like that, the amount of he put on his body is just insane. Next up is Sting, and if we put just the WWE time, like it wasn't anything too crazy, right? Like that has to be Sting, right? Like I'm not messing it up, and that's the Undertaker because that does not look like anything the Undertaker would wear with the thing. For Sting, I feel like I put him at the bottom, and that might just be because I don't really know much of what he did in WWE. I feel like overall, if you put him in, he's much higher, But if we just go in WWE, because this is the greatest of all time, the WWE, I guess that's where I'd put him. And I feel like I could bump somebody up now, having some space. I'm gonna put Sheamus up, and I'll put Benoit up. And then I feel like looking over here, I can put. I think I'll put. I'll leave Ray right there for now. Next up is Matt Hardy. I loved him with the Hardy Boys. With his solo career though, like especially in the WWE, I don't think he really did that much. So I'm gonna have to put him towards the bottom on that. I like to move Kane up. We'll put Ray up. That looks a little bit better. We'll move it around because I think we got a little bit more space at the top. I think I was being a little too picky. And next up, Randy Orton. Randy Orton's legendary career GOAT and the Tribal Chief. I mean, great, amazing career so far, and he's still got some left in the tank. Now let's look everywhere else. I think we could put. I think you put Flair up there just because of all this stuff. I think that's how it works. That's how I feel. This is a crazy list. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really I don't really know, and I think I'm gonna probably a lot of people are gonna be upset, but this is my list for what this tier list says is the greatest is all time. If the Undertaker was here, he's up in the top. If that's the only person I can think of right off the bat that I know that for sure that they missed. Anybody else? Tell me in the comments if there's anybody else that should be, and I can also tell you where I put them. I'm trying to think. Tanker is definitely the biggest one that I can think off the top of my head. But yeah, I shall see you guys next time. This is Japan. Bye, guys.